I know a lot of business owners out there are trying to make more money, maybe break that 7-figure mark, maybe break that 8-figure mark, and they've kind of hit a loss as to like how to get there. Well, I'm Mike Claudio, owner of WinRate Consulting and host of the Big Stuff podcast, and I hope to help you through that decision making today. As a rule of thumb, most of my content is about minimizing your service list. I think it's impossible for somebody to, we're experts at or specializing in, and you see the van with 27 services on the side. You can't specialize in that. But I think there are some situations and cases where it does make sense. So I'm gonna use an example. One of my clients right now, they're a plumbing company. They're growing rapidly, and they were constantly getting asked about an HVAC, right? They're the heating and cooling side of things. And so they've added that as a service to their overall repertoire. So here's some keys I think you should consider. It has to be something your current client base is already asking for. If you're gonna try to build a new service that's a completely different audience, very difficult, not suggested, because you basically have to pivot and split your company into two different quests or two different journeys there. Not going to be very effective. So that being said, if it's something that in the service industry, or let's just say for instance you do roofing, maybe gutters, if you do fencing, maybe staining, if you do decks, maybe fencing, if you do pools, maybe fencing or decks, those are things that kind of go together. They're like, you can sell it to the existing customer base that you have. So if you don't know and you're like, hey, I don't even know what service to add, go ask. Go call your last 20 customers, be like, hey, you loved working with us. We're a great, reputable, honest contractor. Is there anything else that we could do for you that you're having a hard time finding somebody to do? You might be surprised what you get answers to. Because I know for a fact when I was remodeling, when I was in someone's home, I was constantly getting asked, hey, do you guys do this? Hey, do you guys do this? Hey, I like working with you. Can you guys do this for me as well? And that's kind of a little bit how I started progressively growing our service base. But I think so many people try to go in and do too much. So that's like the dichotomy of this. If you try to add too many services, like you're a construction company and then you add maybe an apparel line, and then maybe you add some sort of like social media offers, or maybe I'll start selling leads to other contractors because so many people are calling us. Like, you can't physically grow all those things the right way. So pick something that your existing customer base is already asking of you. The other side of this is look at your existing employee base. What are some skill sets that might not be utilized effectively in there? There's typically people on your team that have other background, other experience, other things going on in their life that you might be able to play off of. Like, oh man, I didn't know you used to paint, or I didn't know you used to do floors, or I know one of my clients right now is a painter, and he didn't realize one of his guys was like an expert epoxy guy. So they started adding in floors, like garage floors, into their repertoire. It matches very closely. They're putting product, they're painting. They're just painting floors now, but he was a really good, so they started adding that service. So if you don't know what your customers want, maybe ask your employees, what are you guys good at? Is there other experiences you have or background that you have that we might be able to implement here to help grow and scale our business? The third thing you can do is look at, in your marketplace, who's failing the biggest, right? There's typically a lot of people doing something I see all the time, well, there's a lot of people doing that, but there's no one doing it well, right? If you have a very good business, if you're very structured, very organized, you have a fine-tuned machine, and you can go into doing something else pretty effectively. I'll use my example. I did remodeling, and then I did roofing, and then last year I started a grading and demo company. I didn't have grading and demo experience, but I saw a massive gap in the industry. People were not operating at a professional, high communicative, technology-driven environment. They were still handwriting invoices and mailing them. I was like, we can do this better. I found somebody in my network that was like, oh, I got equipment operating background. Great, look, boom, business, and we'll do 7 figures in our first year. Those things are out there. You got to get creative sometimes. But again, I'll go back to a previous video. If you're in your business every day, it can be very hard to scale past 7 figures because you need time to work on these ideas, implement them, lay them out. But ultimately, adding services can help. But my caution to you is more often than not, adding complexity will hurt your business. I'd rather you double down on what you're good at in the grand scheme of things. Not bad, just dangerous if you don't have the right amount of time to dedicate the focus to growing that new product or service offering that you're trying to implement. So If you have questions on this, you need some help, hit me a DMs on Instagram at WinRate Consulting. I'd love to talk through this with you and help you figure out what's the right service or what's the right blend or how to go about doing that. It's what I help people do on a regular basis, and so far very successfully. So I'm Mike Claudio, owner of WinRate Consulting and host of the Big Stuff Podcast, and I want you to win fast and win often.